to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Robert Mueller.
Here.
Mary Beth Ferguson. Catherine Walls. Leslie Barker.
Here.
So we do not have a quorum.
Okay. Well, we're going to wait just a little bit. Kathy's supposed to be on her way, but I'd like to welcome our newest member, Leslie Barker of the Bolduc House Museum. And appreciate you volunteering to do this.
Thank you.
We really can't do anything until she gets here. So what's coming?
We could talk about things, right?
Yeah.
Well, so we could talk about the 4th, which is coming right up.
Yeah, this coming Saturday, noon, we're going to do the reading of the Declaration of Independence on the courthouse steps at noon. We'll start with the ringing of bells, which was traditional back in the colonial times. It has a big fancy name called a tintinnabulation.
Oh my.
If you could ever get that in a Scrabble word, you'd be able to get a lot of points.
Good one to remember.
But let's see, what else do we have going on? We have some music there. Our state representative, Kevin Engler, is going to talk. They will probably talk. There's some singing.
Yep.
The Star Spangled Banner, and I can't remember the other one.
What's Stormy Bennett doing?
He
There's
plays
an Armed
this
Forces medley.
Oh, it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that
The
last
whole
year.
thing was really great last year. It was really, really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then fireworks and the Uni Band concert in the evening.
Hopefully it won't rain.
No, it won't rain.
So far it's held off. It's been nice.
It doesn't, the thing at noon doesn't take very long. You can stand and listen to it, and it takes about a half hour, 40 minutes. John Carroll's going to read the Declaration.
Oh, that's good.
Abridged this year, abridged version.
The abridged version?
Well, I don't know if you know, the whole Declaration of Independence has about 20 complaints against King George.
Oh.
We kind of cut those out.
Well, of course, it needed to.
Yeah.
So I emailed that information as well as a list of all of the shop hours that are open, shops, restaurants, wineries, historic sites. I sent that out to the lodging, all the downtown shops, and also sent it out to the wineries because I think it's always good for them to know what's going on downtown too. Because when they have people out there who might be just visiting and they have a list of, hey, here's what's going on in St. Genevieve. So.
Now, is the City Hall in county closed on Monday?
No, it closed on
Friday.
Oh, this Friday, okay.
But not the Welcome Center. And the Welcome Center is going to close at 4 o'clock on Saturday the 4th.
Okay. And there's no summer music series this week because...
So there's also no normal Thursday night Uni Band concert because it will be Saturday for the 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no Saturdays in St. John going on Saturday either, because that's what's going on.
That was a really nice crew you had out that weekend when you were walking with all the different crafts, 4 different craftspeople, little music.
Yeah, yeah.
It was nice.
This past weekend, we were going to have Delisha Hewitt, but she wasn't feeling well, so she's going to have to reschedule. I think people would really get a kick out of that whole Hammond Dulcimer thing.
She's also very good with baskets, too.
Yes, that's what I hear. So, well, I can explain some of the things that we will eventually be talking about here. At one of the previous meetings, actually one of the previous Tourism Tax Commission meetings, we talked about the interstate billboards that we have currently. For the benefit of our new members, we have 2 interstate billboards south of St. Genevieve as you're northbound on Interstate 55. One is pretty close to the Jackson exit, and one is pretty close to the Ozora exit. So the thought there is, they see it, they may or may not have been aware of St. Genevieve before, and then they see it again, and then they can get off pretty quickly there. We have always wanted to find something on the southbound side of 55 because of all the traffic southbound from St. Louis and so on. And I did a series of phone calls last fall asking the companies about availability of signs, and the ones that came back, because they tend to be north of the split of 67 and 55 there by Crystal City, all of them came back in the $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year price range. And we talked, it was kind of ironic because we talked specifically about everyone had noticed a particular billboard just south of that junction that was held by New Madrid. So if you visualize that strip of 55, and you can kind of, actually I have a picture of it here, think about that off and to the right as you're southbound on 55. Right now it's red and black. I think maybe it was a winery or something at the time that this picture was taken. They keep these pictures on file for a while because New Madrid has had that sign for at least a year, maybe 2 years. So I just sort of jokingly told our ad rep, well, if you ever get an opportunity for that sign or something in that area, please call and let us know. So he called to say that New Madrid was not going to be renewing their sign, and it was going to be available as of July 1st. And so I mentioned this at the last Tourism Advisory Council meeting, because a lot of the same people are involved in both of those committees. And they were all really excited about it, and it would be brought before the Tourism Tax Commission. It was actually Kathy that mentioned, well, I wonder why New Madrid is giving it up, so let's find out. So I did find that out, and as it turns out, this was on their, this is confidential, I suppose, but was on their state grant, and they were not able to renew it on their state grant, let's just put it that way. So that's why it became available. So very excited about it. The price for a year on that billboard is $6,600. And as is typical, in your agenda packet, you see the summary of things that have been paid out of the tourism tax collections recently. And you see there on March 19th on Drury Southwest Signs, $5,700. It's the vertical sheet that looks like this. So you see there on March 19th, Drury Southwest Signs, $5,700. That was a one-year renewal on the sign close to Jackson. So that's typically $6,000 per year, and the 5% discount saves us $300. So we always renew that one for a year. I believe, and Sue wasn't here today to ask, but I'm pretty sure that on the Lamar Company, which is the sign company that has the one that we rent that is close to Ozora, I think that one we renew for 6 months at a time because they don't give us a discount. So they don't get our money as quickly. But this sign, the sign that we're talking about tonight, which is at approximately mile marker 173.2, is typically, this is $6,600 even. They're offering a 5% prepaid discount. And one of the other things that we had talked about as a group recently, these other signs we've had for a couple of years now. I think we're in the third year on each of them. And so we had talked about saving money by keeping the existing artwork on there for as long as it would stay good, but that we kind of wanted to update the artwork because right now it's orange and red, and our kind of branding colors are more blue and yellow gold kind of thing. So I asked them to put together what it would look like if we updated it to our colors. And that's what one of these is. So this is, I have to look at them. This is what that would look like. Yeah. Here, yeah, I wrote on these. Southbound. So this one is close.
Well, the old one, I think it's this one here.
Yeah, the old one is orange, red and orange like this. So the one that you have in front of you is for southbound 55. The difference between these is very slight, but Bob's is going to show a little bit of shading to the right of the fleur-de-lis, which I had them remove in the copy that you're looking at. We also wanted to take the opportunity to update the words on it. Currently, on the northbound signs, it says bed and breakfast, restaurants, boutiques. And we had talked about changing that to lodging, shopping, restaurants, and wineries. And then, for various reasons, but we would have the opportunity when we do this to also, when they're making signs, these are 14 feet tall by 48 feet long. When they're making signs, they're going to make another one. It's a lot less to duplicate another sign. And so if we wanted to update the artwork on the Jackson sign, we could do that for an extra $600, which is a pretty good deal.
Is the vinyl included in that price that you quoted for the new billboard?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And they've lasted pretty good, right?
They really have. And he said that on a southbound sign like this, it might last even better because it doesn't get as much sun exposure. So that's kind of, that's where we stand with that. Right now, they are holding it for us. I'm just going to pass out original copies of these for each person. Hello there. I'm just telling the whole story of the signs.
Oh, okay.
The story of the signs. So, and Kathy's aware of this too, but so if we did the sign commitment on this sign, which is what we referred to as, instead of the New Madrid sign, we'll call it the mile marker 173.2 sign.
Okay.
1 year, as Bob said, including the artwork on that, is $6,600. And they would give us a 5% discount, which is also what they currently do on the sign that we have with them in or near Jackson, which would save us $330 altogether. And Kathy, just before you came in, I was telling them, you know, we've talked about wanting to update the artwork on the Jackson sign at some point. Mm-hmm. Well, if you do that at the same time that they're doing this, we could get updated artwork on that sign by Jackson for $600. And it could last for several years. So
I think it sounds like a plan.
Okay. Okay.
Table this till we get down to
yes, we can.
New business.
We can.
We have some things we need to do. And we'll get down there.
So we officially at 5:43 have a quorum.
Okay.
So.
And I apologize for...
I understand you were at another meeting.
We knew that going into it.
We have the approval of the agenda, which is before you. motion to approve?
Motion to approve if there's no changes or corrections.
Since there's a second, thank you.
I can't in this one, so you...
Okay.
Oh, it's just Kathy and me?
Yeah.
Yeah, your turn.
Okay.
It happens like that.
Just coach me, that...
It's a small group.
Yep.
We'll take turns. I'll make the motion and you second, and then you make the motion and I'll second.
Okay, it's a deal.
Okay, the previous minutes of April 21st are attached.
Did we get, so I guess that's all approved then?
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a motion on the table to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approval of the previous minutes.
I don't know how I could even be part of this since I wasn't here.
I guess I can second it. Well, since I was not in charge on that date, I'll make a motion to approve it.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report or the financial report is attached. You can see that we've had the expenditures that we've had this year. There's really four major ones. One was the commercials that we ran at the first part of the year. And I think we had changed channels this year, right? Or is that?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And then the Lamar Company, as she said, for one of the northbound signs, we paid half of that. And all the Drury Southwest signs at $5,700. And then in June, which we don't have the June financials yet, will come out probably by the end of next week.
Correct, but I do have an update from Sue when you're ready.
Okay. But we paid off the balance of the Brand USA, which was some television or motion.
Online, it was, it was website and video placements.
And the next page is kind of a sheet that we look at on the Tourism Advisory Committee, but it shows the revenue down at the second from the last, the TTC revenue and the TTC marketing expense, what we've paid and what we've taken in. You can see we've paid out this $13,550 and we've taken in $13,839. We always try to maintain a balance in that account for special things that come up. I think what's fairly good news is the budget for this year was $20,000 in terms of revenue. We're at about 14 now with 4 months to go, and those are usually 4 of our better months. So I think we have an opportunity to kind of get back a little bit on track with this lodging tax revenue. So did you get something from?
Yes, so Sue told me yesterday that in the month of June, there was an additional $2,035 collected.
2,035?
2035.
And if you look on the last page, you can see some historical data going back to 2007. I think we started this in 2002, was about the first of the lodging tax.
Yeah.
And you can see we've had years in the 22, 24, and when the recession hit, it kind of went down. And good to see it going back the other way.
Yes. Yes.
Any questions on the financial report? If not,
Make a motion to approve.
You can second
Yeah, I'll
that.
second.
Any discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Approved. Any old business to come forward? There be none. One of the things that we have to do is elect officers, and we have a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and a combination secretary of treasury. So I guess at this point, I'll open up nominations for chairperson.
I nominate Bob Mueller for chairperson.
I would agree with that.
Is that a second?
That would be a second.
Are there any other nominations?
Move that the nominations be closed.
Is there a second for
A
that?
second.
Okay. All in favor of Robert Mueller being the chairperson? Say
Aye.
All opposed? Let's see, then we have a vice chair. So I'll open nominations for vice chair.
How about Mary Beth?
Well, she's been the secretary treasurer, I think.
Oh, we'll leave that.
She indicated she would continue in that role. I talked with her yesterday.
I nominate Kathy Walsh.
I second it.
Are there any other nominations? I'll entertain a motion to close nominations.
I would so move.
I will second it. All in favor of Kathy being vice chair?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
Open nominations for the position of secretary treasurer.
I nominate Mary Beth Ferguson.
I second it.
I was late, she missed the meeting, what can I say? She's secretary treasurer.
Are there any other nominations?
No.
Move the nomination cease.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of Mary Beth Ferguson being the secretary treasurer, say aye.
Absolutely, aye.
Aye.
Mary Beth Ferguson is the treasurer, secretary treasurer. Very good. Then I guess we'll get back to the subject of the billboard.
Okay. So, Kathy, I was telling them about the kind of the history with the selection of the billboards and how we had been looking for some additional exposure on southbound 55, and what we could find previously was way out of our price range because it was north of the Highway 67 split. And so this is what I view as an excellent opportunity for us, not only to capture this billboard, but to also update our artwork out there on the interstate to be more consistent with our kind of our branding and image. And so you have that before you, and then I have another suggestion that I'd like to make for the committee's consideration after that.
I would make a motion that we approve getting the new billboard on the southbound side and updating the artwork
For a total of
for a total of, what is it, 60, how much is 68?
6,870.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask a question? If there's 20,000 budgeted for the year, and we have 3 billboards, we're paying the majority, like 80-something% for billboards.
Yes.
And everybody feels that that's the best use of the,
Because of, and we also do little special projects that Sandra might find that to fit in, but we use the other money from the city and the county and the match from the state to do other kinds of that advertising. In the very beginning, the lodging tax actually, or not in the beginning, but midstream, they paid for the match.
For the state grant.
For the state grant, and since we have sufficient funds from other sources to do that, we kind of switched this to some other things like the TV commercials. We also tried some Facebook marketing at one time that we funded.
So, and there was a period of time when there was not as much activity in terms of expenditures on the lodging tax expenditures, so they kind of built up a balance. So what you're looking at in terms of the 1 year, that's what we project in terms of
revenue.
a 1 year revenue, right, but there's a balance that rolls forward all the time.
But she's right, it's still about 80% of what we would expect
Of 1 year, yeah.
of a normal thing, but we always try to keep it about a year ahead on that. So if there is something special that comes in. And this is a 1 year rental?
This is,
with options?
Yes.
should not be squeaky, so I'm not sure.
But we have a motion on the table.
Who made the motion? Kathy?
Kathy
Yes.
made it.
What was the total dollar amount?
68,
70.
70.
And that motion was for a new billboard on the southbound side.
Yes, and to
And
update
the
the
R
R.
Jackson R1.
on
Yeah.
both.
No, on the northbound side, it's only the Drury.
Well, they mean the southbound one and the northbound
Northbound at
Jackson.
Jackson.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant.
So the one that's at Ozora will stay red?
Right.
Yeah. Because that's a different company.
Okay. I guess I'll second it.
There further discussion?
I would only add that I haven't been on this commission through all the history, but in the time I have been on, billboards have proven to be extremely successful in pulling people off the highway to come into town. And if we continue to, I think at least, hammer those visitors on the highway going both directions now instead of just the people coming north, I think it will work out even better for us.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to pull people into town for sure. And anecdotally, at the Bolduc, we have had people comment that they
Yes.
stopped because of the billboards. So, and I suppose a commuter will build up that return trigger to come. So,
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You had mentioned something else, I think.
Yes, one of the things that I have done over the last, it's been almost 2 years now, is tried to increase the amount of search engine marketing, and this kind of goes to probably what you were thinking of, Leslie, in terms of diversifying our marketing campaigns. So for the past couple of years, out of the general funds, marketing funds, I've allocated $250 per month out of that for search engine marketing. This is a program that is, well, we don't have to run it through our co-op matching grant program. This is one that is subsidized at 50% by the state. So the $250 that we have spent historically has been matched by the state. So, you know, it leverages our dollar, obviously. The company that manages this is Madden Media out of St. Louis, and the state just announced that in addition to search engine marketing on Google, they're going to start allowing and subsidizing search engine marketing on Bing, which is the second most frequent search use. And so I'm proposing that we add $50 per month in Bing search engine marketing for a total of $300. And originally I was going to ask the Tourism Tax Commission to consider funding a year of it, but after talking with Bob and Kathy, they suggested that we try 6 months at first and kind of see how it goes. And then maybe decide in January if we want to commit to an additional $1,800. That's what you'll see at the bottom there. What I'm proposing is coverage for 6 months of search engine marketing for the months of August through January for a total of $1,800. And then we can reevaluate it. One thing that's new on this program is that they used to charge us $250 regardless of whether well, what they did was they charged us $250, and if they didn't get the number of clicks, they were guaranteeing it rolled forward. This time, and December is always the lowest month, so this time what they're going to do is actually budget for $250, or in terms of the Google example, budget for $250, and if only $170 worth of clicks occur, that's all that we'll get billed for. So this would be a maximum situation. If it's only $150, we'll only pay $150.
Go ahead.
do we have a search engine optimization program so that
We do. That is all managed by the advertising agency. And we submit to them a list of keywords and search terms that are appropriate for St. Genevieve. So historic houses, bed and breakfast, lodging, wineries, and then just phrases like what the typical person will search, like things to do in St. Genevieve or things to do in Missouri. All of those, it's about a 8-page list of keywords, and they manage all of it. And they send us monthly reports for what the clicks look like.
Are we tracking that to see if there's any increase in number of clicks, but as we change?
So they constantly modify and make recommendations, yes.
Can you tell how, between Google and Bing, where the hits are coming from on our website?
Well, this is brand new. The Bing has not been part of the search engine marketing program before. This is a new item that we would be adding to do Bing searches.
I guess on Google Analytics, they're not going to tell you that Bing was the search engine.
I think we can track that. On Google Analytics,
Yeah,
you can tell, I mean, it's named Google Analytics, but you can tell where everything comes from.
I was just
So we
wondering
should be able
if
to
we were seeing, is Bing growing as far as the use?
Well,
I'm
according
sure
to
it
the,
is, it's becoming a more popular search engine.
according to the marketing experts at the Missouri Division of Tourism, it is, and that's why they are proceeding with adding it. I mean, we could find out in December that Bing is going gangbusters and we want to do, more on Bing and less on Google. We won't know until we get some reports.
Have you ever compiled a comparison between the different years that we've been using this?
Yes.
And does it show an increase in traffic to us?
Yes, and we evaluate the search terms and tweak those so that we rise higher. But, yeah, so the...
Didn't you have that at our last
Yes, so
meeting?
that's what I was just
Maybe you
going
can
to-
just give Leslie a copy.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
with the search terms and then the total number of clicks that are driven to the website as a result of that. And then all of the historic homes, the shops, the lodging, everyone has a description obviously on our website, but also the ability for the user to click directly to those
To our
other
website,
websites.
yeah. And we have to take a 6-month window, or is there a smaller
No.
amount?
We could decide to fund as many months as you would like. Yeah. So if we wanted to do a quarter, we could do a quarter.
And maybe do a report, do an analysis during that quarter and see what it's doing. Compare it to last year at the same time and then maybe the previous 3 months.
Sure. So that would be August, September.
I'm sorry.
No, that's right.
Wouldn't that be slightly skewed depending on which 3 months you're doing? Like if we do July, August, September, that's going to be big. If you do January, February, March, there won't be nearly so much.
Yeah, you almost have to compare.
The same
Tourism is
month,
very
yeah.
seasonal.
Yes.
So you almost
but
have to
that's why
compare
I'm
October this year to October
inclined to
last year.
say take 6 months so you have a broader range of
Oh.
months to compare.
But if we did 3 and we did an analysis, then we could be ready to up it to the next quarter right away, right?
Yes.
It's not like we have, I guess, is this the, is it a gamble or is it a sure thing? I guess that would be my question. And if it's something we need to figure out, is this really worth this much money? Then we take a smaller bite.
Well, I think the
And my
online
question-
marketing is
Yeah, my
It's
question is
definitely-
it
it's
big enough of a
necessary.
bite to be a representative to tell us something? That's my question. If you just do a quarter.
Well, when you started saying that, I thought you were going to say, this is actually a very, very, very minimal budget for search engine marketing. It sort of puts a placeholder there for you so that you're not getting completely overlooked.
Yeah, yeah.
To spend $300 a month in search engine marketing is not much compared to, obviously, the larger markets like St. Louis, St. Charles, others. So I'm completely willing to do it at 6 months or 3 months, however you would like to try it.
Well, it's your turn to make a motion.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm, this is my first meeting, I don't have history, I am willing to move and to defer to the group, I'm not sure December and January are totally necessary, frankly.
Those are obviously our lowest months of.
I mean, I think it would be necessary, but I guess if this is, if what we're doing, you want to have it be a consistent thing. Yeah, I move we do it through January.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, that's for 1,800.
Correct.
And any other further discussion? I think we should do an interim report after
I
about
could still
3
I
months.
agree.
Yeah, I agree
I think
too.
we
Sure.
need to have regular.
But this, okay, vote.
Well, we can make a second motion about an interim report, or we can amend the motion that's in front of us
Let's modify the motion to include the interim report.
after 3 months,
Yeah.
Yeah.
comparing to last year and comparing maybe like the previous 3 months. And we can see we have all the Google Analytic data too that we look at on a monthly basis. So you made a motion to amend it.
I'll
Second there.
that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other new business?
A little bit. Just a little bit. Sandra?
Yes.
At the meeting I just came from.
Yes.
Mr. Glendinning was there.
You want to.
And there was considerable discussion about your conversations with him about tour boats
Yes.
and the river traffic and all that.
We want to turn it
And, no, that's fine. And did you know he lives in Chester?
over. Did not.
Okay. And he's a very nice fellow, and he's going to call you tomorrow and go over all the things that you asked him some questions about, plus all that we discussed at the Port Authority meeting. And Alicia was there. She probably has notes you can read. But, yeah, so it dovetailed together very nicely, and I told him I was coming here to meet with you, and he said he's going to call you tomorrow.
Good, good.
And he has some interesting ideas about using the ferry, doing both sides of the river tourism development from St. John to Chester and back up and around again and use our ferry. And I thought, he's put some thought into it, so I thought you'd enjoy talking with him
Well,
tomorrow.
I'll look forward to that. He was very pleasant over the phone when I spoke with him. And I think at a previous meeting, when we had, brought this up some time back, I think I met Mr. Beelman at one of those meetings too. Sam?
At something, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing not tourism.
No.
Very good. Is there any other business before
I
the board?
have nothing else.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Very good. Thank you, Beth, for coming.